What often happens when you write a rough draft is you have a lot of different ideas all swirling around in your essay, and the organizational structure has not yet been clarified or fully formed. So I like to use the strategy of what's called a revision or reverse outline. So what that means is you've already written a rough draft and your paper is not very well organized. So you actually do the outline after you've drafted. This is why it's called revision or reverse outline. So here's a tangled body paragraph from a student's essay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through this body paragraph and we're going to create idea headings that could possibly be the focal point of body paragraphs, and we're going to start to move some sentences around. So first, let's read the whole paragraph, and you'll see when I read this to you that there's a lot of different ideas and it's really not unified around a single point. And remember, a body paragraph has to be focused on a single point that supports the overall big picture. So I've numbered these sentences here just for our reference. So in an ideal classroom, students must be motivated and actively engaged. Teachers play a vital role in the success of any classroom learning environment, and teachers who have high expectations and offer extra help are the ones who have the most success when it comes to student learning. All students must take an active part in what they're learning, otherwise they'll forget information as soon as they exit the classroom. Unfortunately, not everything that students learn will seem exciting to them, but if students are highly motivated, they'll be able to engage in the lesson and learn the material no matter how dry it may seem. To successfully connect with their students, teachers should be fun and approachable. When the layout of the classroom inhibits learning, it's hard for students to do well in that particular learning environment. For example, I was very uncomfortable at my job during the summer when I worked at a small food stand that had a malfunctioning air conditioner. Because of this uncomfortable environment, I was not able to make the food as quickly as I would have been able to had the temperature been comfortable. Okay, so that's kind of a free write. It's all over the place. It doesn't flow. There's a bunch of different ideas all jumbled together. But it's a great start. So let's go through this paragraph now and start to reorganize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each sentence and think about what idea it's addressing, what larger idea it's addressing. So the first sentence, it looks like students must be motivated and actively engaged. Okay, so the main idea there is student motivation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type student motivation, and I'm going to make that a heading. Now, anytime I have a sentence that fits under that heading, I'm just going to paste it down there. So that first sentence definitely has to do with student motivation, so I'm going to copy that and paste it down here. Now let's look at the next sentence. Teachers play a vital role in the success of any classroom learning environment, and teachers who have high expectations and offer extra help are the ones who have the most success when it comes to student learning. So this sentence is obviously not really about the student motivation, it's more about the teachers. So what I'm going to do is make this into a separate idea, a separate paragraph. And I'm going to put a heading here, help our teachers, and I like to capitalize it and bold it. So teachers or help from teachers, that might be the main idea that's conveyed in that sentence. So I'm going to paste that sentence under there, and then I'm going to look at my next sentence. All students must take an active part in what they're learning, otherwise they'll forget the information as soon as they exit the classroom. Okay, so active part in learning. That kind of sounds like student motivation to me. So those two things are very similar and connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that sentence and I'm going to move it into I'm going to move it into the student motivation under that section. Okay, so now let's look at the next sentence, number 4. Unfortunately, not everything that students learn will seem exciting to them, but if students are highly motivated, they'll be able to engage in the lesson and learn the material no matter how dry it may seem. Okay, so there's that key word, motivated. So again, we're talking about student motivation here. So what I'm going to do is take that sentence and I'm going to move it down under that heading, student motivation. Now what I'm really doing here is I'm creating main ideas for body paragraphs, and I'm really working on the organization of my essay. Okay, let's look at sentence number 5. To successfully connect with their students, teachers should be fun and approachable. Okay, so that sentence definitely has to do with teachers, so I'm going to put that in my teacher, help from teachers section. Paste that down there. Now let's look at our next sentence. When the layout of the classroom inhibits learning, it's hard for students to do well in that particular learning environment. So the layout of the classroom is the main point there. That's not really related to student motivation or teachers per se. So let's make a new heading here, and we'll do classroom layout. So any other sentences that I find that have to do with the classroom layout, I'm going to paste them under there. So let's take that and move it into the proper place. Now let's look at our next sentence. For example, I was very uncomfortable at my last job during the summer when I worked at a small food stand that had a malfunctioning air conditioner. Okay, so that seems to be getting a little bit off topic. So if that doesn't connect, there is a way to make it connect. It has to do with the comfort of the learning environment. So if this student did want to make that outside example connect, he or she could put that in the classroom layout or physical space paragraph, but if not, that student could just cut it. So what I'm going to do for now, because I'm not really sure what I want to do with that just yet, so I'm going to make another section that says cuts. I'm going to put a question mark there because I still haven't decided what I'm going to do with the sentences that I just put under there. You might end up finding that you have a bunch of sentences that relate, and you can definitely make another body paragraph out of them. So you'll be able to actually expand your paper that way. Okay, let's look at the final sentence here. Because of this uncomfortable environment, I was not able to make the food as quickly as I would have been able to had the temperature been comfortable. Okay, so if this student wanted to continue on and say a sweltering classroom makes it difficult to do work, that example could definitely relate. Right now it doesn't quite relate, so I'm going to put it in the cuts section. And now what we have here, and I've only done one body paragraph, but you really want to go through your whole essay and do something like this, because what you'll find is within a single body paragraph you might drift off into a point that you make in a different body paragraph. And in academic writing, you really want all of your points on the same subject to be in the same paragraph, because that way you can build an argument that better sticks in your reader's mind and is more memorable to your readers. And you also don't want to give your reader the impression that they're just watching a tennis match and going back and forth with all these different points that you're making. You really want to show your reader that you've taken the time and the care to properly organize your essay. So I want you to go through your own essay and do something similar to this and start to cut and paste your sentences to make sure that each body paragraph is focused on a single point that connects to the big picture.